What happens when life puts a wall in front of you that you simply cannot avoid? Sometimes, the hardest part isn't the obstacle. It's the moment you start believing you don't have the strength to overcome it. You look at yourself and wonder, why can't I handle this like everyone else? You push harder. You try to force things into place. But sometimes, pushing harder only makes you more exhausted. And after enough failures, your mind begins whispering something dangerous. Maybe I just can't do this. But resilience begins when you stop judging yourself and start understanding yourself. You don't need to feel powerful before you take the next step. You become powerful by taking it. The road ahead may look impossible, but you don't have to climb the entire staircase today. You only need enough courage to take the first step. Because every difficult step teaches your mind something important. I can survive discomfort. Resilience doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means accepting reality without allowing reality to control you. Failure can hurt. Rejection can sting. But neither one has to become your identity. Sometimes we exhaust ourselves fighting things that simply cannot be changed. Strength isn't always about pushing harder. Sometimes strength is knowing when to let go. There will always be things you cannot control. The question is, what will you do with the things you can? Your attention, your effort, your choices, your response. The moment you separate what you can control from what you cannot, your mind becomes lighter. People may criticize you. Circumstances may disappoint you, but you still get to choose your response. And when everything around you becomes chaotic, your greatest advantage is the ability to remain centered. You don't need to control the storm. You need to learn how to keep walking through it. Resilience is not built during comfortable moments. It's built when the path becomes difficult. Every time you continue despite exhaustion, you teach your brain that discomfort is not danger. Even when motivation disappears, discipline can keep you moving. You won't always feel like doing what matters. Strong people learn to act anyway. Every small challenge you willingly face is like a workout for your mind. The brain becomes stronger through practice, just like the body does. You don't become resilient by avoiding every storm. You become resilient by discovering that you can stand in the rain. Patience is another form of strength. Not everything needs to happen immediately. Pressure will come. Problems will come. Unexpected moments will come. But with enough practice, you begin realizing something powerful. You can handle more than you once believed. And then comes another challenge: your own emotions. Anger tells you to react immediately. Resilience teaches you to pause. Fear tells you to escape. Resilience teaches you to understand what you're actually afraid of. Someone else's anger doesn't have to become your anger. Between what happens and how you respond, there is a small moment of choice. That tiny moment can change everything. You don't have to answer every message. You don't have to fight every argument. You don't have to prove yourself to everyone. Emotional strength means knowing that your feelings are real, but they don't always need to become your actions. The storm can exist around you without becoming a storm inside you. And when you learn that, your calm becomes one of your greatest strengths. But resilience also means becoming comfortable with being misunderstood. Not everyone will understand your choices. Some people will judge what they don't know. And if you let every opinion enter your mind, you'll eventually lose yourself trying to satisfy everyone. So learn to ask a better question. Does this criticism contain something useful? Listen when you need to learn. Ignore what you don't need to carry. You don't have to prove your worth to every person who doubts you. Your identity cannot depend entirely on someone else's opinion. Some criticism deserves reflection. Some deserves nothing more than release. Build boundaries around your mind, because not every thought deserves access to your peace. And once you stop chasing everyone's approval, you finally have energy to build the life you actually want. But resilience isn't only about surviving huge crises. It's built through ordinary days. The days when you're tired. The days when nobody is watching. The days when you simply don't feel motivated. Those quiet moments are where consistency is created. You don't need massive changes. You need small actions repeated long enough to become part of you. One completed task becomes evidence that you can keep promises to yourself. One difficult workout becomes evidence that discomfort doesn't control you. One small victory becomes another brick in your mental foundation. Eventually, those tiny decisions become something much bigger: self-trust. And sometimes resilience means walking through periods where you cannot see the destination. You simply keep moving until the darkness begins to disappear. But remember this, even strong people get tired. Rest isn't weakness. Recovery is part of resilience. You cannot constantly demand strength from an exhausted mind. Sometimes the strongest decision is to stop, breathe, and recover. Give yourself space to think. Give your body time to recover. Give your mind permission to slow down. Then ask yourself, what is this experience trying to teach me? Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe boundaries. Maybe courage. Maybe simply that you are capable of more than you thought. Every difficult experience contains information if you're willing to examine it. Like a tree growing stronger through seasons of wind, you can grow stronger through seasons of difficulty. You don't become strong because life becomes gentle. You become strong because you learn how to stand. Pressure will test you in ways you never expected. Sometimes problems arrive faster than you can solve them. When that happens, don't solve everything at once. Slow down and find the next right move. Separate what matters from what doesn't. One problem at a time. Even the biggest mess becomes manageable when you stop trying to untangle everything simultaneously. Choose a direction. Take one step. Then take another. You don't need to defeat every wave. You need to learn how to stay standing when one hits. Breathe. Pause. Observe. Then respond. Sometimes resilience is nothing more complicated than refusing to panic. And when the pressure finally passes, you'll realize you didn't need to be fearless. You simply needed to remain present. Then something changes. Not outside you. Inside you. You stop asking, how can I make life easier? And start asking, how can I become stronger? A setback no longer automatically means defeat. It becomes a problem to understand, repair, or move around. You realize that not every obstacle needs to be destroyed. Sometimes you simply need another way through. Rejection still hurts. Failure still stings. Criticism still feels uncomfortable. You're simply no longer destroyed by them, that you've learned that pain can exist without becoming your entire identity. And perhaps the biggest breakthrough is this. You stop carrying yesterday into every tomorrow. You take the lesson with you. But you don't have to keep carrying the weight. You don't hate the weaker version of yourself anymore. You understand that version was simply learning. And that's when resilience stops being something you practice and starts becoming who you are. Real resilience doesn't make you emotionless. It makes you harder to destroy. You can still care deeply. You can still love. You can still be hurt. But pain no longer convinces you that your life is over. That's the difference. You don't need a life without storms. You need a mind that knows how to walk through them, build acceptance, practice discipline, control your reactions, recover properly, and keep choosing courage. Don't wait for a crisis to become resilient. Train these skills while life is still calm. Because the strongest version of you isn't created when everything goes right. It's created by how you respond when everything goes wrong. The next time life hits you, don't ask, why am I so unlucky? Ask, who can I become because of this? Build a mind that bends without breaking, a heart that feels without surrendering, and a spirit that keeps moving forward. Because the strongest person isn't the one who never gets knocked down. It's the one who gets back up so many times that eventually, nothing can convince them to stay down.